What if I told you that you've already died thousands of times? Not metaphorically. You've actually experienced the core process we call death, night after night. Since you were born, every single night, when you fall asleep, something remarkable happens. Your consciousness, the very essence of who you are, the part that thinks, feels, and experiences, gently withdraws from your physical body. You can't feel it happening. You can't observe it from the outside. But in that mysterious transition from waking consciousness to sleep, you're performing the exact same process that will one day be permanent. You're practicing death every single night. A Danish mystic named Martinus described this precisely. The transfer of consciousness we experience in sleep is identical to what we call death. The same process occurs in anesthesia, in fainting, in deep trance states. Different intensities, but the same fundamental mechanism. So why don't we remember what happens during sleep? Why don't we recall those 8 hours of experience? For exactly the same reason we won't initially remember what happens after death. Our memory hasn't yet developed the capacity to bridge those two planes of existence. What we call unconsciousness during sleep isn't the absence of consciousness at all. It's consciousness experiencing a different dimension, existing as pure thought and feeling without the dense physical form. You're still aware, still experiencing, but in a body made of energy that you can't yet remember when you wake. But here's the problem. Everything your senses tell you about death, the stillness, the silence, the finality, seems to prove that life ends. Your senses can only perceive the physical plane, the densest layer of existence. This is why materialist science, brilliant as it is at mapping the physical world, has no explanation for consciousness itself. Where does love come from? Creativity? The sense of I? These aren't physical phenomena. They're expressions of something beyond the reach of physical instruments. The fear of death stems from a simple mistake of identity. We look in the mirror and think this is me. But the body isn't the self. It's the vehicle the self inhabits. Like confusing your car with the driver inside it. When a car becomes too old to drive safely, you trade it in. You don't cease to exist when you leave the car. Death is the same. The soul's release from a worn-out biological vehicle. Here's what Martinus saw that changes everything. All of existence, every organism, every particle, every thought you've ever had, is actually a dynamic interplay of energies and forces. It's consciousness expressing itself through infinite forms. Everything you experience is unshakable proof that life is the absolute reality, and death, as we imagine it, an absolute impossibility. What we call death isn't the end of the eternal I that you are. It's simply that I stepping out of one temporary form, preparing to continue its journey in another. So what actually happens at the moment of death? According to Martinus, the eternal I, your consciousness withdraws from the physical body like waking from sleep. The connection is severed, and the body begins its transformation back to the elements. But you, the real you, are already moving on. Your awareness doesn't go dark. Instead, it shifts to what Martinus calls the feeling body, a form made of finer, spiritual matter. This isn't imagination. It's where your waking consciousness now lives, just as real to you as your physical body was moments before. And here's where it gets profound. The world you wake up in is shaped by your thoughts, your beliefs, your moral development. On Earth, thoughts stayed in your head. Here, they become your environment. Your consciousness literally creates the reality you experience. This isn't reward or punishment. It's cosmic law, Derari. Just as gravity shapes matter, consciousness shapes spiritual reality. You've always been creating your experience, on Earth and beyond. Now it's just more visible. Those who lived with love, curiosity, and genuine care for others wake in beautiful, vibrant realms. Radiant landscapes, profound peace, connection with others who share that development. the harvest of a life well lived. Those consumed by hatred, greed, or rigid materialism experience heavier, darker states. Not eternal punishment, but a reflection they can't escape until they're ready to learn, to let go, to grow. Even here, evolution continues. For those who lived with love, curiosity, and growth. Those who didn't cling too tightly to hatred or rigid belief. The transition is like waking from a heavy dream into clarity. You arrive in what Martinus calls the divine world. Not a place with geography, but a state of being where thought is the only substance. You have no heavy physical body anymore. Your form is made entirely of thought, radiant, fluid, changeable by will. Martinus describes it as eternal renewal. There's no aging here. The weakness we associate with growing old simply doesn't exist. Everyone exists in permanent youth, their appearance shaped by consciousness itself. Here's the stunning part. You meet everyone you knew in life. Friends, family, and enemies. But something extraordinary has happened. The hatred is gone. Martinus says it couldn't pass through the gate, like muddy shoes left at the door. Your former enemy greets you not with hostility, but with the warmest sympathy. Because hatred, blame, vengeance, these things can't exist in a realm where consciousness is transparent. Communication here is soul to soul. No words needed, no chance for misunderstanding. You see each other completely, not with judgment, but with recognition. The barriers that separated you on Earth, language, culture, the masks we wear, they dissolve. What remains is pure understanding. This divine world isn't your final destination. It's a rest period. Martinus uses a simple metaphor. Death is like night's sleep. The physical world is the day where you work and learn. The spiritual realm is the night where you recharge. And just as you wake from sleep renewed, you'll eventually wake into a new physical life. Reincarnation. Martinus is explicit about this. Your entire physical existence is based on what he calls guest existence in these higher worlds. Between each physical life, you pass through the spiritual planes, rest, reflect, prepare, doing. Then you return, choosing new circumstances, new lessons, continuing the spiral of evolution. Birth isn't a beginning. It's a continuation. The universe is not winding down toward heat, death, and extinction. It's built on eternal cycles. Day and night. Summer and winter. Sleep and waking. Death and rebirth. Every ending is a beginning. Every silence is pregnant with the next sound. You are not your body. You are the I, the eternal consciousness that looks out through your eyes. You've lived countless lives before this one. You'll live countless more after it. Each time wearing a different form, but always you. The observer, the experiencer, the learner. Death anxiety dissolves. When you truly grasp this, you've already died thousands of times, and been reborn thousands of times. Each transition, you carried your essence forward. A little wiser, a little more capable of love. You're not facing something unknown. You're facing something you've mastered again and again. Martinus put it clearly. All of existence is a play of energies. Physical matter is just one frequency in an infinite spectrum. Life is absolutely real. Death is absolutely impossible. What you call death is simply consciousness changing channels from dense matter to pure thought. The goal isn't to escape the cycle of rebirth. It's to evolve through it, learning love, growing in wisdom, expanding your consciousness, until one day you graduate, becoming a permanent citizen of the higher realms, ready to guide others on their journey. So tonight, when you lie down and close your eyes, when consciousness begins to slip away into dreams, remember, you're practicing. You're rehearsing the transition you've been fearing. Sleep is death's gentle teacher, and the great transition you've been dreading, it's already your oldest friend. You've trusted it before. You'll trust it again, and each time you come home.